We'll start now.
Yeah,
We'll
sure.
start now, Harish.
Yeah.
எங்க நடக்குது எப்படி இப்படி?
A very good morning to all the ladies and gentlemen gathered here. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great, says ABJ Abdul Kalam. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the management, Jay Engineering College, principal, head of CAC and IT, staff members, to the 6-day faculty development training program in cyber forensics sponsored by Anna University. The main objective of this program is to provide an opportunity for all the faculty members to upgrade their knowledge in the current trends in cyber forensics. With this, I request our principal, Dr. Raj.
Okay, I think sir not yet joined, I suppose. Sir, is there principal sir? Are you there in the line? Okay, no problem. We will start. So, happy morning to all. As principal not yet joined, he will join very soon. And respected principal and Dr. V. Siddha Devi ma'am, coordinator for the FDP. And the speaker for the day, Mr. T.T. Harish, and all my dear participants from various Anna University affiliated colleges. Welcome you all on behalf of the Center for Faculty Development, Anna University and Jaya Engineering College. I am very much delighted to coordinate the FDTP on cyber forensics. The course is need of the hour. I have been teaching this course for past 6 years and enjoying in my teaching this particular course. I cannot say it's only meant for CAC and IT. So this particular course, it's meant for everyone. Every person using digital technologies must have awareness on cyber security and cyber crime and so on. So the course is designed to cover almost all aspects of forensic, basics about cyber forensics, evidence collection, and the various the hardware and software tools used for the forensics, and how you can analyze and validate the forensic data. And the last 2 units covered ethical hacking. So ethical hacking in general, as well ethical hacking in web. So these are the course design, and we are very we have very good speakers lined up. The mixed of industry, academia, as well as even resource person from government sector. So all are very experienced, and they're all working in this particular area. So you can make use of their expertise for this particular course, and enjoy your learning with these well-experienced resource person. And kindly stick on to the Anna University guideline for a smooth conduct of this 6 days online. Thank you all. We'll meet again. Over to you, ma'am.
you, sir.
So, join.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful introduction about the FDP.
Uh,
Good morning, sir. Principal, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, sir. May I now request the principal, Dr. Rajendran, to deliver the welcome address. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good morning to one present here. Okay, today, Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Information Technology is a combinedly organized Anna University is a sponsor online with a faculty development training program on cyber forensics from 2 to 2022 to 8 to 2022. On behalf of our management, I thank our chief TT Harish Software for India Private Limited. He is one of the alumni of Jaya Engineering College for consenting to this event. Thank you, sir. Our institution was founded in the year 1995 with a focus on technological innovation, entrepreneurship, and character building to the students. In our institution have adequate lab facilities and infrastructure in all the departments, and our college have green campus and eco-friendly. Our institution offers 9 undergraduate programs and 7 postgraduate programs, is permanently affiliated to Anna University Chennai and approved by AICT New Delhi. Our esteemed Jaya Educational Trust run more than 20 higher educational institutions and more than 10 schools, and nearly 3,000 persons employed under this school. Every year, our institution produces more than 700 graduates to service the society. This faculty development training program is intended to provide opportunity for teachers who are working in AICTE, approved institution affiliated to Anna University. This program gives an exposure to cyber security, forensics, and ethical hacking concept with hands-on session, which it will help the teachers to teach the course effectively. This program will cover the syllabus provided by Anna University for the undergraduate program. I really appreciate our faculty development training program coordinators, Professor M. Kumaran, head of the department, Computer Science, and Dr. Sita Devi, head of the department, Information Technology, for effectively planning to conduct this event during the last busy schedule. Once again, I thank all the participants who will be attending the session. May this program bring insight to this technology. Cyber forensics. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm welcome, sir. Without wasting our time, let's start our first session of our 6-day FDTP program on cyber forensic. May I now hand over our first session to Mr. Harish, Global Product Owner, Cyber Security, Software One India Private Limited. May I now request our coordinator, Professor Kumaran, to introduce our speaker for the first session. Please, sir.
So, I'm very much delighted to introduce Mr. TT Harish. TT Harish is having more than 15 years of experience in industry, and especially more than 10 years in the area of cyber security. He's a global product owner, Cyber Security Software One India Private Limited. As I said, it's having more than 15 years of experience. and he is a very motivational speaker and invited speaker for many institutions like schools and colleges. And he is associated with J Engineering College for the past 15 years, and he is having vast experience. He is a CISA certified professional, and working because he worked in many leading industries in around the world. So with this brief introduction, I invite Mr. T.T. Harish to take over the session. Please, Harish.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, Harish, you're audible.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So this is Harish here. So as Professor Kumaran and Professor Sita Devi introduced, I'm an alumnus of this college, and I've been in the cybersecurity industry for more than 10 years now. So I'm sorry because I had to travel all of a sudden and I didn't want to miss this session. So I'm on the road taking this session for you. So bear with me for some, background noises. Apologies for that. But then we will try to, make this session more interesting, interactive. And I think you should have seen a message from me yesterday night, right? Did you all see the message which I sent you? I asked you to go through some news about any cybercrime case and then choose one case which actually affects you badly. Did you all do this? Yes or no? You can just unmute and say yes. It's also tough to sit like that without talking in a meeting for almost a day. So feel free to unmute and talk to me. Did you all see this? Did you all see the message? Did you all go through some cases?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So before we go on to that, let me just try to give you a quick introduction on this cyber forensics, right? However, I have a presentation with very minimal content. I thought it's just the introduction session and we need to talk more. I will anyways be handling another session for you guys on email secure email investigations and social engineering, where I will try to give you some practical real-time case studies where I can demonstrate how we actually investigate email IDs and stuff. I can also bring in some cases which I handle in the corporate areas, which are publicly, Okay. So, ma'am, can you just share the screen with my presentation to start with?
Yes, Harish, just a minute.
Okay, it's coming up. All right. So on the full screen mode, please. So is it on the full screen mode or not yet?
Harish, you can go ahead with this.
Okay. So next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. All right. So before I go on to cyber forensics, right, I wanted to show this chart about evolution of internet, or probably you can call it Internet of Things also, right? So it all started with pre-internet era where there was only human-to-human communication. So one of the main, aspect of talking to people. Prehistoric days, it was just signs and sound, and then we got a language. And then from a technology perspective, we can kind of fix this era where your landlines, your telephones. How many of you remember landlines and telephones? We don't even use that nowadays, right? And we at least bothered about sending an SMS. It's all WhatsApp, Instagram today, right? So that was the pre-internet era. Then came the internet of content, right? Where you had this email, information, entertainment in terms of news and stuff. And then you see internet of services, which is more of e-productivity and e-commerce. And then came a big wave of social media, right? So even in social media, there's a lot of different platforms, right? Facebook. How many of you remember Orkut? You remember Orkut? Yes or no? Okay, so that was another social media popular social media platform, and then from then we had this Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So the whole world is now a social media based world, right? Uh, I don't know how many of you will have a um, ID card, but you will have definitely have a profile in Facebook, right? So your virtual IDs are much popular than your real-time ID card. So everybody has a Facebook account, everybody has a Twitter account, everybody has a Insta account. So that's the era now. And then where are we heading towards, right? We're heading towards an era of Internet of Things where it's going to be machine to machine communication going forward, right? It's not anymore going to be a man to machine communication. You've got IoTs, you've got 3D printing, you've got all the modern technologies. Now the devices are going to talk to each other. I mean, way back in 2017, right? Way back in 2017, there was an issue reported in Facebook. So Facebook has got a lot of bots, right? There are a lot of bots in Facebook. You know what is a bot? A bot is actually a program which can automate a lot of works. Hello?
Harish? Harish?
So sorry for the inconvenience, sir.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, Harish.
Okay. So this machine to machine communication is something that we are going to have going forward. And if you look at this evolution of internet and evolution of your overall technology, right? Your cybercrime and your crime being committed using computers also kind of improved all through these ages, right? So this human to human, when there was this fixed telephone or just landlines or voice calls and SMS, right? There's not much of a issue that we were facing up. But just think about the next era of internet of contents. The time email started coming in, we started having some amount of attack, right? And then in terms of infotainment or news or entertainment, there are a lot of fake news which started coming. So when people had access to these platforms, they themselves started writing something which were untrue, right? And then go to the next era, right? E-productivity, e-commerce. See how the cybercrime evolved. Anyway, we're going to discuss about this in detail. I'm just showing you this overall evolution with the increase in complexity and high-tech technology in terms of crimes. So e-productivity, e-commerce, you had the Flipkarts, Amazons, and then this is where your financial crimes started creeping up very heavily. Your financial crimes using computers, right? And then when social media came, what was an attack being made for somebody's money or some fake news turned out to be an attack that is being done against human beings, right? This is where all your impersonation, this is where all your IT, obscene images, blackmails, everything started coming in. And then what can you expect in the future is more of hacking into all your machineries, mechanics. There's somebody talking. Can you go on mute? Okay. So what can you accept? Expect in the future is machine to machine attacks, where you can see people hacking connected cars. There was a guy who tried hacking an autopilot functionality in the plane itself. So he was called and he was rewarded. He was rewarded. He was rewarded, and then there was somebody who also attacked pacemaker. you had all the connected pacemakers which they keep in heart, right? So that was also done. So I mean, so you can expect more in the future. You can even expect where a connected car is hacked and something catastrophic happens. Now this is the evolution of attack, right? So next slide. Okay, and this is how internet has also changed their lives, right? And this technology advancement has created a chaos in everybody's life. And how many of you agree to this picture? What do you understand from this picture? I can't hear anybody talking about this. How many of you agree to this, and what do you understand?
Reducing
Hello?
physical work.
Yeah. Okay, then what else?
No
Then what
physical
else?
movement, Mr. Harish.
No, so do you also see that humans have become bigger and technology equipments have become smaller? So your information access, all of that has come into your hand sized equipments, right? Everything is hand sized now. Nothing is huge in big computers and desktops, laptops are getting written, and everybody is using mobiles, right? So next slide, sir. Okay, now before I go into this forensics, right, I just wanted to bring you all into a new technology era, something little, I mean, just for a wild imagination. I was referring to a few articles, and I just found a few interesting pictures where they are related. How would it be if technology, was existing during the Ramayana and Mahabharata times, right? Sorry for taking an example from a particular epic related to religion. This was easily available for me, and probably people can relate this very easily. This is just to make you feel lighter and to make you think in a very different way. The first image, please, sir. Hey, what is this app? What is this app?
Doctor appointment.
Yeah. So it will be nice if you ever had a Tracto app during Mahabharata days where you can easily find a doctor for Dhritarashtra. Next slide. So this is Google, right? So if Supanaga had to go and repair her nose, she could have searched for a good doctor in Sri Lanka or wherever she was. Next slide. And it would be nice if Vishnu had an image gallery of all his avatars. So like a good phone with a lot of image galleries. Next slide. So Zomato for Vinayaka, he could have searched for better foods that we kind of offer him, right? Next slide. So you can see Kumbhakarna's last scene is 6 months ago. So if there was a WhatsApp, we could have easily found out if Kumbhakarna was sleeping or if he was awake. Next slide. And Krishna's updating of his relationship status in Facebook, in a relationship with Radha. So it would have been nice for us to see, right? Go on, next. Twitter for Vibhishana, where Vibhishana could have better connected with Ram using a Twitter rather than traveling all the way and telling him, I'm with you. So Twitter would have helped Vibhishana. Next slide, sir. So a flight search app, yatra.com for Narada would have made his life easier. Next. So this is a change.org for people of Ayodhya to have raised the issue of getting back Rama, right? All of us write petitions using this change.org. Next slide, sir. Again, a Tinder for Vishwamitra. Next. And then how to build a bridge. It would have been easy for monkeys to build a bridge, like the Vanaras to build the bridge. Next. And nice if Instagram and Hanuman's status on the Instagram. Next. 8 packs workout for Bima in YouTube, right? Another interesting technological thinking. Next slide, sir. Okay, so the pictures that I showed you were just to give you a different kind of a thought of how the whole aspect of Epic would have got changed if technology was there, right? And you know, one thing is that in today's world there are these 3 key pillars which drives all your overall IT, right? It's your IoT, artificial intelligence, business intelligence and business analytics, and then cybersecurity. Now, these are the 4 key pillars of today's transformational IT that you see, that you hear, right? Now, how will all this change the way the cyber crimes are being created today? Now, because only when you understand what a cyber crime is, you will understand what a cyber forensics is, right? Because there's a very thin line of difference. I mean, the objective of cyber crime, the objective of cyber security, and the objective of cyber forensics, all of it is different. It's not one and the same, right? But in this era of highly technological advancements, how is that we are going to define your cyber crimes? Okay, next slide. Okay, all right. So let me just pause for a minute, and I want all of you all to speak, right? Can somebody talk about a old form of crime? Leave cyber crimes, leave computer crimes. Just tell me one interesting case, not related to computers, not related to cybercrime, but probably as a child, you would have seen a lot of news, or probably some news in news channel would have affected you badly, right? Let's take one crime, understand that crime, and then let's then compare it to a cybercrime. So anybody who would want to share any one crime that actually affected them, mindfully?
Sir, actually, we have a crime like signature forgery, sir. It's an usual scenario that will be having such sort of crimes. Am I right, sir?
Yeah. So can you also introduce yourself when you speak, because it'll be good for
Yes,
others
sir.
to know.
Myself, I am Sudha from Sriram Engineering College, working as HOD. And I have been with this forensics since because my father is assistant director in forensic department. So I know pretty well some cases related to
So
crimes
you're
with
talking
respect to
about a signature forgery, right?
forgeries.
You're talking about forgeries. Any
Yeah, yes.
any particular case that you
Yeah,
remember?
yes, sir.
Any particular case that you remember? Something which you've heard from your father, or something which
Yeah,
you experienced
yeah,
that you want to
yes,
share?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, sure, sir. Sir, actually, there was a couple. Actually, this is actually a client case from my father. There was a couple, sir, and they had only one son, and he is supposed to get that particular bill of. I mean, they have signed a will for their son, but their relations have made him in such a way that they have forged his signature. Okay, since because it is from their what to say, sir, it is not their forefathers will, that is. So they have just put that particular case saying that this particular property belongs to them. So in such a way that they have forged their uh, uh, X or Y, their signature on that particular document, and they have just taken away that property, sir. Later, it was confirmed with the forensic department, and they have taken all the writings of the particular person, and they have matched everything with the fellow who has wrongly forged the signature, and thereby they are able to conclude that it has been forged.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So anyone else about any other interesting crimes apart from this? So let's once we have 2 or 3 cases, let's decode it and understand why the crime was committed and how it was committed, and then relate it to how this could have been done more effectively when you use a computer for doing such a crime. Anybody else? Can I have some active participation from all of you, please? I don't want you to just sit and listen to the whole thing, which is boring for me also, right? To keep talking continuously without any feedback, because we are in the challenging times where we are not meeting in person. In person, it could have been very different, right? So I just wanted to make it more, interactive. So anybody else apart from Madam to talk about any other normal crime? It doesn't have to be a cyber crime. It can be a murder. It can be anything. Anybody else? Hello. Somebody is not on mute. Okay, anybody else would like to talk, or let me just pull up the participants list and then I'll ask for them to give me a case. Let me start with one of the faculties that I know from Jaya Engineering College. A.B. Chandra, sir. You're there on the meeting? Mr. A.B. Chandra? Okay. Selva Kumaran, yes. Selva Kumaran, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Share any one case that was of interest to you.
I heard about something that if you are receiving any message, it has any link like that. If you go for the link, then the amount will be debited from our account like that.
Okay. Nothing in cybercrime for you? I mean, apart from cybercrime, was there any other case which was of interest to you?
Any other case like?
All right. So you're talking about a link and stuff. Okay, let's discuss about this as well.
Yes.
Mr. Shaktivel. Mr. Shaktivel. Okay. All right. So any other person who wants to just share another case that is of interesting to you?
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, yes,
I am Priya from GRT College.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. We can explain about the social media crimes, the prank and the text message which they are sending and receiving.
Okay. Okay. Then
So,
what else?
cyber crimes.
Okay. No, the thing is, உங்க யாருக்காவது ஏதாவது நல்ல ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான ஒரு கேஸ் தெரிஞ்சதுன்னா just share it with us. It doesn't matter. You can even tell us in your regional language, right? You don't have to be translating the case which you understood in English. You can even talk in Tamil, no problem. So any other interesting case? It will be interesting for us to understand the motive and then compare it with how this can be conducted using computers, right? So that's all. Okay, no problem. So let's take the example of what Sudha madam gave. So there was this property case where somebody forged a signature and then somebody sold the property or whatever. Now let's decode this, right? What was the motive of this crime? What was the motive of this crime? What was the motive of this crime? Anybody?
To stole the property, sir.
Okay, stealing the property. So what is the motive for stealing the property? See, every crime is committed with a motive, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what could be the motive? What is the motive for stealing the property?
Gaining money.
Okay, gaining money. So monetary gains, that is the motive. Okay, next, any other motive? See, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to think, right? I'm not this kind of a person who will come. One second. I am not this kind of a speaker who will just speak for 1 hour, say thank you and go. I have another session with you. Mr. Kumaran would have introduced, right? I'm kind of more dynamic speaker and I want everybody to participate. If this is not interesting to you, I wouldn't mind signing off from the session and I leave this next half an hour or 1 hour for you all to discuss on your own. Let me be very straightforward. I want all of you to participate and I want everybody to benefit from this. There's no point in me alone talking for a whole 1 hour, and that's going to be waste of energy, time for both of us. You're not going to understand anything. So I want it to be very interactive. Are you guys going to be with me or not? Let's be very honest and let's then take the session forward. I want everybody to participate.
Sure, sir.
Right?
The
I want
environment is not nice. That's why we just, if we chat, if you can see that also, it will be better, sir.
okay, I don't see any
We are
messages.
having noise issues here. That's why I'm not able to unmute and
No, it's
speak.
not about you. It's not about you alone, madam. It's about everybody, right? It's just not about you. It's about
But we are
everybody
not
to participate.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you can even send messages using chat, right? So okay, so what could be the other motives that we can think about in this particular case, right?
To spoil the goodwill of others.
Okay, spoiling the goodwill of others. So one person said monetary gains, right? And any other angle that you can think? தமிழ்ல சொல்லுவாங்க தெரியுமா இந்த பழிக்கு பழி வாங்குறதுன்னு. Have you heard of this retribution?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it could have been a case where somebody felt, okay, you see brothers killing brothers, right? Today there are brothers who are fighting against each other. So there could have been an issue where this could have been an ancestral property and people, one person wanted to sell and one person didn't want to sell, or one person thought, okay, he has got this. So there are a lot of motives which a crime can have. So a basic thing that a crime should have is a motive. You need to understand the motive of this crime. So that will actually help you investigate this case in a very easier manner. The same thing with cyber crimes, right? So let's now think how a similar case in cybercrime could have been done. So we are talking about selling a property, right? Now imagine what was done here. The signature was forged. Now in cybercrime, what could have been done is you could have taken somebody's email ID and you could have sent an email, right? That's one thing. Or you could have used somebody's bank information or credit card, and then you could have actually done something there as well. So again, there could be different motives for doing such crimes, right? Now there's one side, a financially motivated crimes where people are only focused on taking somebody's money, somebody's card, somebody's this, somebody's that, something related to finance. And there's another side, a very personal side, where the motives can be different. It could be shaming, it could be a crime against women, or it could be a lot of things. So basically, if it is easy for you to understand when you go through a crime, try to understand the motive and then figure out how this could have been done. So the cyber crimes per se existed even before the computers existed, right? It was always fight for information. How many of you are aware of this Alibaba and 40 Thieves story? All of you know what Alibaba and 40 Thieves story is?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what was the overall story there? There was a bandit who used to steal, and he used to go and store some all these things that he stole in a cave, which had a big door, and that door will open and close when there was a spell or a mantra that is chanted. Yes or no?
Yes.
And what did Alibaba do? What did Alibaba do in that story?
Alibaba is using the same mantra.
So how did he find out that mantra?
One day he heard about that.
One day he went near that place, he saw something like this, so he waited there and he overheard the conversation, and then he used this mantra to go in and come out, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you think of a similar case in today's cybercrime world?
Yes, sir.
Something very easily which you can relate with.
Password.
How can I observe your password?
Spoofing, sir. Spoofing.
How can I know your password?
Some password managers are
Spoofing, sir.
Spoofing, password managers, and what else? Now, very simple is if I am in the same office that as you are working, right? I can just over here, I can just over the shoulder see your password and then use it against you. Or I can talk to you, you can share your password with me and I can use your password, right? There are so many ways in which I can try to attack you using your password, right? So if you look at the motive of Alibaba was again to steal. Though he was a hero, his motive was again to gain wealth for his personal use, right? Giving it to others is something different. But from my perspective, Alibaba was also a criminal, right? So it all started there. And World War II, the Germans were using a machine called Enigma code machines, which were used for transmitting informations. So there was a movie called U-571. It is a movie about a submarine which is going to intercept a German submarine and then take this mission and come back to US or wherever, right? So there again, there was not much of machinery, but again, there was an issue with respect to information. Now, there are a lot of films that you would have seen long back, which spoke about crimes and cyber crimes and stuff, right? So that's another thing to tell you that these cyber crimes are nothing but something which was existing very long way back, and the main motive of cyber crime is for information, right? So that's about it. And today it's like most common thing that you see every day, right? So every day when you go to any statistics on cyber crimes, you will see a lot of uh, um, computer related crimes being performed, right? At any given point in time, there's one fake ID which is being created. At any given point in time, there's a lot of fake news that are being circulated. At any given point in time, somebody's financial information is being compromised. There are so many things that happens. And please note that all these cybercrime against men and women started cropping up with increase in social media. Now, why did it start increasing with increase in social media? Any idea for all of you? What was the reason for me to make a statement saying, okay, with increase in the usage of social media, cybercrime started growing? What could be the reason?
They are sharing their information there.
Excellent. Any other thought process?
Whatever they are doing, they are updating in social media.
Fantastic. Whatever they are doing. Recently, I saw somebody, they have put their passport in social media saying, I got a new passport. I just called him and said, are you an idiot? He just put his passport saying, I got a new passport today. Does he even need that to be there? I told him somebody else will be traveling to some country with your information. And he could bring in a lot of whatever contraband things and you will go to jail. And he immediately deleted his Facebook profile itself. Anyways, so that's one thing, right? So what else? What else is making people commit a lot of crimes today?
Yeah, sharing personal details also in the Facebook, sir.
Sharing personal details in the Facebook. Okay. Then what else? Okay. All right. Now again, as everybody said, people are throwing in a lot of personal information. People are throwing in a lot of data unwantedly on social media, which is leading them into all these crimes. Right. Now, again, another statistics is all these crimes transform from being a financial crime into more of a people-centric crime. Right. Now, though financial crimes have a lot of importance and they are large in numbers today, but the crime against people is very, very impactful. Now, long time ago, when I had to attack somebody, I should have either put up a poster or I should have done something, like spreading false information about him to go and talk to people about him badly and do that. But today, at one click of my mouse, I can write something about anybody. Correct or wrong? I just don't need anything, right? So I can just choose a name. Okay, there's somebody called Dr. WT Chambian, right? I can just use this name. I can go to Twitter I can go to Facebook, I can find his profile, I can tag him and I can write something bad about him. Who's going to stop me from doing all this, right? So it has become more easier for me to attack somebody very personally in today's social world. And again, thanks to Twitters and thanks to others, a lot of people do write a lot of things so irrelevantly, and that again creates chaos. If you look at Facebook, if you go to a lot of forums and a lot of other posts which people write, certain posts are pathetic, right? The way they criticize the state governments, the way they criticize central governments, the way they write about somebody else. I mean, this could have not been possible without the social media, right? And these are also crimes. You just can't go write something about somebody on the internet just because you have an access to your computer and internet, which is where all your problems start coming from, right? So when you look at the cause and consequence of both of these, this is like something for us to analyze, right? What is the cause for a cybercrime to happen? Now, there are a lot of motives which will provoke one person to do a crime. Now, for instance, let's say I write something bad about somebody, right? I write something bad about somebody. Now, why should I write something bad about someone? What could be the motive for me to write bad something about someone? Now the reason is because I might not like this person, or that person could have irritated me, or I would have an enmity with that person. Any other motives which you can think of? Why should I write bad about somebody in the social media? Any other motives? Any other motives that you can think of?
To defame a person.
Okay, why should I defame a person? Why should I defame a person? Okay, fine, I'll move on. So the cause for the crime can be anything, right? It could be as silly as possible, and it could be probably a long, deep-rooted, motivated crime that we're going to talk about. But then what you should understand is at the both ends of the spectrum, right? Both the ends of a crime. When a crime is committed, there's another person who's doing this crime, and there's another person who's getting affected because of this crime. And at both the ends, right? You any crime that you take, there's a person who's doing and there's a person who's getting affected. So these are the two ends of the spectrum where you always see that a person commits a crime and another person is getting affected because of this. So for you to understand more better, there's always a human behind every successful cybercrime that he commits. Now, this is where we need to put our forethought properly and then understand why somebody is creating a crime and what is the effect of this crime on the other person. Now, when you want to become a cyber investigator, this alone will make you more specific to the case. This will make you see through the case in a more specific manner. Like I'll tell you. So there was a. I'll give you one example when we talk about cybercrime. I'll give you, but I'll tell you now. So I was working for a company. It was a non-banking financial sector company, and what happened was there was a police who came one day and he said, we want to meet this person. We've got a complaint against them. So we just because they came to the office and my boss knew him, so we said, okay, what has happened? Why? He said, no, this woman has sent an email, and this email ID apparently belongs to your company. I mean, the IP address belongs to your company. So we want to kind of investigate and know more on this, right? And then we said, okay, just give us some time. We will also look into it and come back to you. And then what happened was we actually started going through this case, and that woman was there in the office. And we went and we told her, look, there's a police who has come to take you. Looks like you sent an email to some person abusing him on the email. and now he wants to make an investigation out of this. So then that girl fainted, and we had to ask her to sit for some time until we kind of figure out what happened. Because end of the day, our company's IT was involved, right? So then I pulled up my team and we started investigating this case. With the help of them, we got the email header and we started tracing the origin of this email. And we found out that this email has got out from our IP address, our company's public IP address. Now, how can I be sure that this lady has sent an email, right? So everybody in my company has a computer and everybody has an IP address registered under the name. So I can use my firewall to go and see during that time of the case. One important thing that you should know is the time of the incident, right? Time of the incident is very, very crucial. The whole, when you look at the overall history of the incident, the time at which the crime is committed is the most important thing for you to find out what actually happened. That's precisely because only if you have the information about the time of the crime, you'll be able to investigate and produce more evidences to substantiate that the crime has been done or not done. Okay, if I do a crime today, but when I report, I said I got a mail 10 days back, or I don't remember when I got this email. That's not going to help anybody, right? So the time at which the crime is committed is very, very important for us to note, right? So we knew the time, and then what we did was we searched all the logs and the firewalls to find out. I mean, so the email was sent from Gmail. So we searched the firewall logs to find out who were all connected to Gmail 1 hour before and after the incident, right? The reason being, if you just search for that time, right, you might not even know there could be. So it is always better to search for 1 hour before and after. That's what we did. And we zeroed in on 10 IP addresses which were connected to Gmail during this time window. Now, how do I find out who was this person who sent this email? Now, apparently what happened is when we did our investigation, from the girl's computer, there was no connection to our firewall made on that day. So what we also understood was that day, this woman was not in the office. She was on leave. She was not in the office. Now, what did we do then? So we now know that this girl didn't commit the crime. So it must be this 10 people who had actually done this crime. But the only twist here is they had used this girl's email ID and password to send out this email. Now we have a log for 2 hours, right? So if the crime is committed at 10 o'clock, we had the log from 9 to 11. Now, exactly at 10 o'clock, the point in which the crime happened. Now we observe what people do. Now, please note this point. There's a principle called Locat's principle in criminology. That every criminal leaves a clue for you to note. Every criminal leaves a clue for you to note, and it is up to the investigator to find out what clue is that, so that one clue will lead you to the criminal. Okay. So how many of you saw this movie called Dhiran Adhikaram? Did you all see this movie? Did you all see this movie? There's one small evidence which this person will take out from the crime scene, which will lead him to the Bavaria gang. Now, there's one that we also found out. There's one thing that we also found out, right? One is during exactly at 10 o'clock, right? At 10:02, there was a person who has disconnected his connection, and the remaining 9 people were still connected. Now, this was one of the small clues that led us to the exact criminal, right? So, usually, when there's a crime being committed, especially using somebody else's ID, right? There's always an urgency for you to close it and go off. There's always an urgency for you to close it and go off. So when you kind of observed the overall traffic pattern, there's this person alone who actually logged out of Gmail in just 2 minutes after 10:02. Now, when we again backtrack, this fellow had logged into Gmail at 9:58, and he is logged out of Gmail in 10:02. Now, okay, now we have this suspect, but then we had to confirm, right? Now, what we did was we again went into the CCTV cameras and we saw the movement of this person. So at exactly 10:02, he is logged off, and 10:03 is going out of office, and he's coming back only at 1 o'clock. So he done a crime. He didn't want to be here. He moved out. So the second evidence against him. Now, how will I confront him? Right now, we went to this girl and we said, look, we have tried investigating this, and we have a strong evidence with that this guy would have sent this email. Now, you tell me what is the connect between you and him? Is there a possibility for him to know your password? Now, this girl said, look, he's my very close friend. So I one day called him. Somebody had come to office from a bank to give me a loan or check, and they wanted some document to be sent. So we just I just called him, and I gave him my user ID and password to take a printout and give it to him. And then yeah, we know this was the guy, and we called this guy into a room. We confronted him. And then he accepted, saying, yes, I did this. And he has sent this email to his own relative, his Chitapa or somebody, because there was a property dispute and he just wanted to shame him up. So he used this girl's email ID to go send an email saying that you have misbehaved with me and something. And that fellow out of here has gone and complained to the police. Now, this is how you investigate a cyber crime, right? When somebody comes and complains that there is something happened. Now, the first thing is for you to understand the overall incident, observe, and then take it up. So that's one of the cases that I kind of dealt with. So next slide, sir. So what is a cyber crime then? Is a criminal activities carried out by means of computer or the internet. So cyber crimes are not something very different. These are criminal activities which are carried out by using a computer or internet. So you can do any crime. So people today, they also plan for murders using your computers, right? So then so one of the evidences, so a cyber forensic expert can be pulled in to find out what all information this fellow has collected about the person about whom he's going to kill. What kind of plan, conspiracies, emails. So there was also this case during the Mumbai train bomb blast. People went and took custody of a person whose IP address was used sending a mail to a media channel. And then it later on turned out to be that his Wi-Fi password was not very strong. And the terrorist organization hacked this Wi-Fi, and they have sent an email using his Wi-Fi ID. So today, when you say cyber crime, a cyber crime is nothing but any criminal activity which are carried out by the means of computers and internet, right? So that is cyber crime. So next slide, please. So what is cyber forensics then? So we know what is cyber crime is. Now what is cyber forensics? Cyber forensics is a process of extracting data as a proof of crime that involves electronic devices while following proper investigation rules to nab the culprit by presenting the evidence to the court. Now, cyber forensics is a process which is done after a crime is committed. Please note this, after a crime is committed. If you do any of these forensic activity before a crime or as a preventive mode, it's called intelligence or whatever, right? So cyber forensics is actually done after a crime is committed. And the objective of cyber forensic is to extract data as a proof. Please understand, we are not talking about investigation. The objective of cyber forensics is to extract data as proof for the crime. If I say somebody has sent me an email ID which is very, very of threatening nature, I need to ensure that I need to have proper data evidences to show me or to show the court that this person had really written an email to me at this point in time. That is where cyber forensics plays a very, very vital role. I think in the next sessions, you're going to see about various techniques, how this is going to be done, what are the various ways of extracting data, Like for example, when you seize a computer in cybercrime, you can if it's switched off, right? You should not switch on until you kind of replicate it completely, because they would have programmed that when you restart or switch on, the whole data gets corrupted. So you should never, or if it's switched on, you should never switch it off. There are a lot of ways in which data are extracted, and then you can just take a hard disk and then clone your hard disk, and you will investigate only on the cloned hard disk, where you will preserve the original hard disk as an evidence. So there are a lot of rules in cybercrime which I think people will talk about. I think you have beautiful speakers that are lined up to give you even more realistic cases. I think you have a very popular IPS officer, IG, Murugan IPS, who can. I know he's a very good expert in cybercrimes. I think that session will also be very interesting to you. So, did you all understand what a cybercrime is and what a cyber forensics is?
Yes, sir.
So, any questions so far? See, remember, this is just an introductory session for you to understand what cybercrime is, what cyber forensics is, and then we go on to the next sessions. So any questions for you all?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so I asked you all to go through some cases, right? Anybody went through a cybercrime case? Do you want to share that with us so that we understand it more practically? Hello? Hello? Somebody who would like to share a case or something?
So recently, I think 2-3 days before, a 19 years old boy hacked Elon Musk accounts recently. Actually, so I'm looking about that information, but I can't able to understand the case details and also. So there was a deal between the.
Sorry.
Sir, recently, Elon Musk account was hacked by 19-year-old boy, and there was a deal between Elon Musk and 19-year-old boy. And I didn't understand case details, sir. So what was that? If you know about the details, I can share with us.
Okay, I just note it down because I also have to go through the overall case. I know Elon Musk account was hacked, and he again got access to his account. So when I have my next meeting with you, I will take this as one of the case studies and present. But then any other news that was of interesting to you of late recently with cybercrimes, anything that you studied, some old cybercrime stories? Okay, so another case which actually fascinated me. This is a long old case. So there was a guy who was married and he had a family, kids, and everything. But this guy was more attracted towards women, and he used to talk to a lot of them in Facebook and the social medias. And he actually started talking to different people, and then he found out a lot of people started giving him friend requests, right? A lot of women started giving him friend requests. So he then actually started accepting all these friend requests, and he started talking to all these women folks. And all of them spoke to him very nice, so that he became very close to them. And mind it, he has never seen anybody. He's just been talking to them on social media and chat and stuff. Now all of a sudden, people started talking to him, and people started asking gifts. So this fellow started sending gifts, started giving them money. So he then he was talking to around about 9 to 10 women at the same time. So overall, he spent around about 5 to 6 lakhs on all of them together. And then what he did was, how long he'll keep talking, right? He said, come, let's meet, let's go out and let's chill and stuff. He was pressurizing every woman that he was talking to come and meet and stuff. And suddenly one day he gets a call from a police that, look, there's this woman whom you were talking on social media. You were pressurizing her to come and meet you, and she committed suicide. And she's in the hospital, and we are coming to arrest you. And this fellow got frightened. He said, sir, I didn't do anything. She only spoke. I gave her all this gift and stuff. He said, look, whatever you done is wrong. You can't talk to somebody like this and you can force them to come and meet you. Then this fellow said, sir, what can you do to me? I need to escape from this case. And this person said, okay, give me some money. Give me 5 lakhs or something. I will save you. So this fellow transferred that 5 lakhs also. And then finally, what happened is, again, he got a call saying the case is very complex. We need another 3 lakhs. Now he is already given 6 lakhs, another 5 lakhs, another 3 lakhs. He was not having money. So he drank something and he got admitted in the hospital by trying to commit suicide. Now another inspector came and met him. He was inquiring why he did this. So then he said, look, I had this problem. All these happened. Then somebody from your department called me. They took 5 lakhs and again they're asking for 3 lakhs. I don't have any money. I didn't do anything wrong. The inspector said, don't worry, chill out. I will investigate. And then later on, when the inspector investigated, what he found out was this happened in Bombay. So what he found out was this guy was talking to 10 different girls, right? Those are not girls at all. Those are all men, okay? And they were all they all were not different men. There's only one guy who created 10 fake IDs in different women's name. He was talking to him, this man, and that is the same guy who called him impersonating to be a cop, and he took money. So look at how the motive here was to extract money, and the modus operandi, the way in which the crime that they did was to give a bait to this person. See, always a crime again occurs because of a weakness that a person has got, right? That weakness is exploited. That vulnerability of any person is exploited. If I am so greedy about money, when somebody sends me a message saying that, look, you got 15,000 pounds from UK bank for you, I go give all the details, right? I don't even think if I'm eligible to get that much money. Now, here is where the problem, right? I am greedy towards money. I am vulnerable for this attack. Let's say if I like, seeing different kinds of women and stuff. So people will send some pictures and they will attract me and they will then make me do this crime. So always think, and again, another form of crime is creating fear, right? Some people give you an email saying your bank account is compromised. Out of fear, we go and give all the passwords there. So see, when you see any crime, any cyber crime, the modus operandi always is to actually break one of your weaknesses. It could be your fear, it could be your greed, it could be your lust or whatever. The whole idea is to break your weakness and then exploit things from you. So that is how the crimes are being conducted. Next slide. Okay. Now the final introduction is about identity theft or identity fraud. So what does identity theft mean? What does identity fraud mean? See, identity theft is stealing somebody's identity data, right? And then what is an identity fraud is using the data to open anything or using the data to commit a crime. So please understand, when I say identity theft, it is nothing but stealing somebody's identity data. When I say identity fraud, it is using the data which is stolen to create something, right? So the difference is identity theft is stealing the data from you're stealing your bank accounts, passports, etc., and then credit cards, your cell phones and stuff. When identity fraud is opening a new bank account in your name, making new passports, making social IDs, making fake credit cards, and making fake licenses. Now, in internet, right, there's something called as deep web and dark web. If you go to this dark web, you can see a lot of things are being sold. Fake marriage certificates, fake ID cards, fake licenses, fake currencies. So how do they get all this? Is when you loosely handle this. So when you give a, so again, one more modus operandi is this bank loans, right? Whenever you want to have a bank loan, you give all your documents. How many of you sign in the document and give? And when you give a Xerox copy, you sign and give. Okay, do you know that these people can misuse that later? If you give your PAN card or your passport with your signature, they can also go and buy a cell phone, right? They can buy a SIM card in your name, right? And use it for some malicious purpose. So what you should do here is you should actually sign with the purpose of giving this to somebody. You should actually sign saying, I am giving this to so-and-so person on so-and-so date for the purpose of bank loan. And you also need to write a small thing in the area where your identity is there. So if you look at your passport, there'll be some blank spaces, right? So you please given for bank loan. So that even when they duplicately Xerox it, they cannot do it, right? So that's how you should actually say. So the difference between identity theft and identity fraud is identity theft is just mere collection of your data. Identity fraud is using those data to commit a crime. Any doubts on this? Identity theft is identity fraud. So you can now see, right? A lot of people in Facebook and Instagram, they create fake profiles and they ask you money. There are so many cases. Even a couple of my doctor friends now, somebody impersonated them, they created the ID and then they had to go through a lot of help. So it is good for us to keep all our data secured, all our privacy settings put up. And when I talk about social engineering and stuff, I'll also try to show you some practical demos. Okay. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I have from my side for the introduction. I think it was useful. I'm open for any questions. I'm open for any questions. All right. Thank you. Kumaran sir and Sita ma'am, over to you. Thank you so much.
Sir, excuse us, sir.
Yes, madam.
Excuse us, sir. Harish,
Yes,
sir, I'm
madam.
audible, sir.
Yeah, you're audible.
Harish,
Go
sir.
on.
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nowadays we are using digital signature and we are sharing everywhere now, sir. As our academic institutions, we are using our digital signature.
Okay.
So there are a lot of possibility to theft our signature, no, sir.
Madam, digital signature, the overall key for signing a digital signature is going to be with you, either in a USB or wherever you stored it, right? So unless the hackers have access to that, you don't have to worry. If you sign your document digitally, doesn't mean that they can duplicate it. That's not the case. So you should you should only try to secure your digital signature. If you have kept your digital signature at USB, keep that USB more secure, more safe. If you lose that, then people can misuse. See, the purpose of digital signature was to establish that only you are sending the document. It was for non-repudiation, right? Only if they steal your digital signature, they can misuse it. But if you sign a document digitally and send it to them, they can't misuse that actually.
Yeah, yes, sir. But they will give our impression of signatures, no, sir, so that they can use easily wherever they want our signature. In case if they are not possible, no, sir.
That's not possible. That's not possible.
Sir, one more question, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, if for lab purpose, we are academician. So for lab purpose, in the bona fide sheet, we are giving the digital signature for our students, no, sir.
Okay.
So it will not be misused, or if there is any way to avoid the digital signature, that is
madam.
the
So,
way.
இல்ல மேடம் கொஞ்சம் வாட் வி ஷுட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர் வந்து இட் இஸ் தேர் ஃபார் okay, so why do you sign a document to tell a fact that it was you who reviewed this or who you gave this, right? What do you say when you sign a checkbook? This is my account, I am signing it, I am authorizing you to give me money. And when you sign a document digitally, what it does is it actually, for the other person who receives the document, he actually knows that only you have signed this document, and he cannot misuse that paper or that PDF because he will not have access to your actual digital signature. Please understand that nobody can duplicate your digital signature unless they have access to your original digital signature which you have saved. You know that digital signature is saved in pen drives, right? Only when
Yes,
that
sir,
is stolen.
not in pen drive, sir. We are sending through mail because it has to be attached in the bona fide sheet of the lab
You are
record book.
sharing your old digital signature itself to people, is it?
Yeah, sir. We are sharing our digital signature to the students.
So now
இல்ல,
our
நீங்க
case, yes,
இல்ல
sir.
நீங்க டிஜிட்டல்
Now,
சிக்னேச்சர் சொல்றது மேடம், ஒன் செகண்ட். நீங்க டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர்னு சொல்றது நீங்க கையெழுத்து போட்டு அதை ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி அனுப்புறீங்களா இல்ல கம்ப்யூட்டர் டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சரா?
சார் ஒரு பேப்பர்ல இது சைனை போட்டுட்டு திருப்பி அதை நாங்க ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி தானே சார் அனுப்புறோமே.
அது டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர் இல்ல மேடம், அது வந்து சிக்னேச்சரோட போட்டோ காப்பி. ப்ளீஸ் பி வெரி கிளியர். டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர்ங்கிறது இட்ஸ் an கிரிப்டோகிராஃபிக் திங். I'm talking about that. இந்த மாதிரி நீங்க உங்க சிக்னேச்சரை வந்து நீங்க சைன் போட்டு அனுப்பிச்சீங்கன்னா you have to face the consequences for this. You should never be sending your signatures, scanned signatures to other people.
but during this pandemic, it is happening, no, sir. Now, during this pandemic, everywhere the signature is sharing,
so
no,
what
sir.
you should do is, no, what you should do is, you should sign in that bona fide sheet, convert that into a PDF and then send. And also write below that the date and purpose of signing, right? Otherwise, what they will do, they will copy this signature and they will use it for some other purpose, right? Practically possible, right?
That's why I'm asking, sir. So we are sending like this. It is any
No, please don't do that, madam. This is a very insecure practice. This is the most insecure practice. People can definitely misuse this.
Yeah, in academic, we cannot neglect that, sir, because we
You
are
can, madam.
conducting
It is your
online
signature.
exam.
It is your signature, right? Ask your colleges to provide
Yes,
you
sir.
with proper digital signatures, or you sign and then scan the bona fide and send it to them. Please don't attach your signature and send it in email. If you send your signature alone, that can be misused.
Yeah, that's why I had a doubt, sir.
So please don't do that.
So I'm also having the same doubts, because for lab purpose and all, we will be sending the signature to the students.
இல்ல நீங்க வெறும் சிக்னேச்சரை மட்டும் ஒரு பேப்பர்ல கையெழுத்து போட்டு அனுப்பிச்சீங்கன்னா அது யார் வேணா எப்படி மிஸ்யூஸ் பண்ணலாம்.
அதுதான் சார் வேற வழி இல்ல சார். ஏன்னா ஆன்லைன்
இருக்கு, இல்ல வழி இருக்கு மேடம். அது காலேஜஸ்ல பேசி அதை நீங்க வேற மாதிரி அட்ரஸ் பண்ணணும். உங்க சிக்னேச்சர்ல ஒயிட் பேப்பர்ல கையெழுத்து போட்டு நீங்க எல்லாருக்கும் அனுப்பிச்சீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. உங்களுக்கு ஏதோ ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் உங்களை பிடிக்கல அப்படின்னா ஒரு லெட்டர் எழுதி உங்க சிக்னேச்சரை போட்டு பிடிஎஃப் கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணி அனுப்பிச்சாங்கன்னா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? லேட்டர் ஆன் யூ கேன் கோ அண்ட் சே நான் ஒரு 1000 பேருக்கு என் சிக்னேச்சர் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன்னு சொல்லலாம். But initially வரது நீங்க தான ஃபேஸ் பண்ணனும். So talk to your colleges and get a better way of handling these things. I don't think so universities are recommending these methods also.
சார் வேற மெத்தட்னா வேற எப்படி சார் நீங்க சஜஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்க சார்?
கிரிப்டோகிராஃபிக் சைன்ஸ் இருக்கு மேடம், டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர் இருக்கு, ஆக்சுவல் டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சரே இருக்கு. இந்த கம்ப்யூட்டர் பேஸ்ட் என்கிரிப்ஷன் வச்சு சிக்னேச்சர்ஸ் இருக்கு. அதை நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
ஓகேங்க சார்.
இல்லாட்டி போனஃபைட் சர்டிபிகேட் எடுத்து நீங்க போனஃபைட் சர்டிபிகேட்டை சைன் பண்ணி அதை ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி அனுப்பலாம். ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா ஒரு சொல்யூஷன் வேணும்னா பசங்களை வந்து உங்களுக்கு லெட்டர் அனுப்ப சொல்லிட்டு அந்த லெட்டரை நீங்க பிரிண்ட் அவுட் எடுத்து நீங்க சைன் பண்ணி அதுல என்ன பர்பஸ்க்காக சைன் பண்றீங்க டேட் போட்டு நீங்க சைன் பண்ணி அதை ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி அனுப்பலாம்.
இல்ல சார் நீங்க சொல்றது வந்து இது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் சார். ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல 60 people இருக்காங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். 60 பேருக்குமே வந்து
நீங்க இல்ல மேடம் யூஸ் பண்றது உங்க சிக்னேச்சர். உங்க சிக்னேச்சர் எங்க வேணா போலாம்னா நீங்க கஷ்டம் பாருங்க. இல்ல எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஈஸியா இருக்கணும்னா உங்க சிக்னேச்சர் 1000 பேருக்கு அனுப்புங்க. அது யாரும் மிஸ்யூஸ் பண்ணட்டும்.
இல்ல வேற ஏதோ ஆல்டர்னேட் வே இருக்கான்னு
மேடம். நம்ம கன்வீனியன்ஸ் பார்க்கணும், செக்யூரிட்டி காம்ப்ரமைஸ் பண்ண கூடாதுல. இதுதான் மேடம் ரெண்டே ஆல்டர்னேட்டிவ் வே தான். நீங்க டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர் வாங்கி வச்சுக்கோங்க. டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர்னா நான் சொல்றது வந்து ப்ராப்பரான கம்ப்யூட்டர் பேஸ்ட் டிஜிட்டல் சிக்னேச்சர் வாங்கி வச்சுக்கோங்க. இல்லாட்டி இந்த பண்ணுங்க. ரெண்டு தான், இதை தவிர வேற வழி கிடையாது.
சரி ஓகேங்க சார். தேங்க் யூ சார்.
Any other questions from participants?
புரிஞ்சிருச்சா? இவ்வளவு क्वेश्चंस போய்ட்டாங்க.
அட்மின்ல போனா அட்மின் பாஸ்வேர்ட் கேபிட்டல்
யாரோ பாஸ்வேர்ட்லாம் ஷேர் பண்றீங்க பாருங்க. இதுவே ஒரு பெரிய கிரைம் தான். அட்மின்ல போனா அட்மின் பாஸ்வேர்ட் கேபிட்டல் ஏன்னு வேற சொல்றீங்க. ப்ளீஸ் கம் ஆன். இந்த மாதிரி பிராக்டிசஸ் அவாய்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா இட் வில் பி பெட்டர் ஃபார் எவ்ரிபடி.
So thank you, Harish. It was a wonderful session. I hope the participants enjoyed. Given clear insights about the cyber crime, cyber forensic, and touched upon the identity theft and identity fraud. So thank you very much for being with us for the past 1.5 hours.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I just have a request for my
Yeah,
next session. I want all of them to be very interactive.
Yeah,
And,
definitely we'll make them. It's not
yeah.
an issue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So thank you, participants. It's the end of session 1, and we will continue the session 2 at 10:45. I try to join by 10:40. We have another speaker, Dr. Arul Deepa from College of Engineering, Guindy, Anna University. Is going to talk about incident methodology, and forensic duplication and investigation. So I request everyone to join by 10:40 exactly. So thank you. We'll meet again by 10:40. Thank you, Harish.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.